Welcome back to your Feel Good Breakfast Show Expresso on SABC3. Now, we all remember the controversy last year around Melissa Bachman, a US-born hunter who shot and killed a lion in South Africa. Now, this issue sparked controversy across the world around the hunting of lions, and a march against lion hunting has been arranged to take place in 55 cities across the world tomorrow. Now, but there are also arguments in support of lion hunting, and those that advocate it or for it feel victimized by the responses. Now, with us in studio is Linda Tucker, CEO of the Global White Lion Protection Trust, and Charles Robertson, a game farmer and lion hunting advocate. Now, whether you agree or not with the points made today, it is indeed a controversial issue, and must be solved. I think sooner rather than later. Charles and Linda, thank you very much for joining us this morning. Trying to leave kind of emotion out of the whole discussion and only speaking facts. I'll start first with you, Charles. In your mind, what are the benefits of allowing the hunting of lions in South Africa?
Thank you for the opportunity, Katlego. I think it's something that we feel very passionate about. And I think for us to completely understand this is to first give you some history of where trophy hunting in South Africa comes from. Because it's a very unique model. All trophy hunting in South Africa takes place on privately owned land, not on government land. And 50 years ago, there were 4 of these official farms. And today, there are 10,000. And the total land mass of those privately owned game farms are 20.5 million hectares. And if you compare that with our game reserves all put together, that's 7.5 million hectares. And the game count is 16 million pieces or heads of game on these privately owned farms, as opposed to 4 million in our national reserves, all put together. And it's been driven by one thing, and that is trophy hunting, because these game farmers run a commercial operation. And for them, they need to be incentivized to do that, because they're not forced to do that. They can farm with anything. So these 10,000 game ranchers in South Africa convert their farms to game farms, and the income that they generate from that is from trophy hunting. And that's why we say that we have a very important role to play in conservation of the species. I mean, we're talking about 16 million heads of game.
Okay, moving over to you, Linda. The reasons why your organization is against lion hunting, and what do you hope to achieve?
Okay, well, first of all, the aim of the Global March for Lion is to shut down the captive breeding and captive killing of lions. We're not specifically targeting the hunting of lions in the wild, because it's a big industry and it has a long tradition in South Africa. Secondly, the economics of this industry has been widely advocated by the trophy hunting industry, but economists at large, economists from around the world have analyzed the stats, and they're nothing like what has been bandied about by the trophy hunting industry. In fact, they point out that only 3% of the commercial trophy hunting revenue gets to the communities. The rest is in the back pockets of those operators. So the economics is questionable around this industry. But I would like to take it further out of the realm of politics or economics and really look at the ethics of it. And I think what has changed the debate is that Archbishop Emeritus Desmond Tutu has come forward and has said, take this in front of a higher authority and look at what we're doing. We're talking about the captive breeding and captive killing of the king of animals. Is that really what the Creator intended for his most proud animal on earth?
Charles, the laws that regulate the hunting of lions, and are there those kind of laws, and what are the rules surrounding what you described earlier on?
In South Africa, as Linda pointed out, lion hunting is captive bred lion hunting. But all game hunting in South Africa is captive bred. All of these animals are bred under certain conditions. Some of them, I guess, is not being done in the proper way, but many of them is done in a really proper and ethical way, and it contributes towards conserving the species. And there are laws. You're not in our province where we hunt them. The specific hunting farm has to be over 1,000 hectares. Some of them are 10,000 hectares. It has to be coupled with a permit. It's a very strict application permit process to apply to have the facility and also to hunt every lion. So none of them, you know, it is actually regulated quite efficiently, and it's actually tough to get a license to do this.
Yeah. Linda, is your opinion that that regulation goes far enough in protecting lions?
Absolutely not. I mean, in fact, the regulation is in chaos. Every province has a different regulation. The national regulation is not adhered to. People move lions across provinces to hunt them. There is a scientific authority that is meant to be regulating that, but there's no representation of animal ethics on that. There is no animal welfare organization as part of the regulatory body. Yeah. So where do the lions have a voice in all this? You'd need to put yourself in the position of the lions, hundreds of them in cages. Where is their voice?
Yeah. I mean, obviously two very polarized and opposed sides. Is there some kind of middle ground, Charles and Linda, as you speak of these different issues and concerns from your different camps? Is there a middle ground? Linda, I'll start with you.
Can I say, I mean, I truly believe there is. You know, this industry only began very recently, 15 years ago. In that time, 160 of these kind of captive breeding, captive killing operations emerged. It's a new industry. And, you know, I believe truly there's a proud tradition that we're talking about here in hunting. You know, there are codes of conduct that the Professional Hunters Association adhere to. Mm-hmm. Captive breeding and killing of lions does not conform with any code of conduct, in our view.
Charles?
Obviously, I don't agree with that last statement, but I also believe that there are many areas in where we can work together. Ms. Tucker has had a very successful reintroduction program where she reintroduced captive bred lions into the wild. This is something that we would very much like to partake in. I think there are many areas where we can learn from each other, and I think if we can come together, I think we can move forward and find a solution that's workable for everyone.
We're absolutely prepared to work together. However, we need to point out that since this industry has been breeding, there are no logbooks. In other words, there's no genetic lineage. This has broken the genetic code of lions that cannot be returned to the wild at this point. Yeah. Any lion that has been captive bred is considered a dangerous lion and may not return to the wild because they do not fear humans. Mm-hmm. So there is no route back. I know we are an exceptional organization that has taken 10 years in returning 3 prides to the wild, but they came from the highest genetic lineage, 1 generation removed from the wild, and it cost us nearly 60 million in the process to return them to the system.
Linda, Charles, thank you very much for
coming
in this morning and for raising both your points. Well, I guess it's up to you at home. Do you agree with the hunting of lions or not? Let us know on our Facebook page, Expresso Morning Show SABC3. And of course, if you'd also like to know a bit more about the Global March, it is happening on the 15th of March. We will have those details on our Expresso Morning Show SABC3 Facebook page.